Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param Om. Namaste, welcome. Kenopanishad, page, bottom of page 54. So we were looking into the benefits, the palam, if I did not forget. So the teacher is telling to the student, so you are the divine principle, it's consciousness, and then Swami Paramarthananda was illustrating the difficulty of the teacher to say something so that the objectification of that which is our true nature, intrinsic nature, can be prevented. So if the guru says, so you are the divine principle, the students more often than not, for at least for some time, keeps superimposed the attributes of the body, mind, sense into that divine principle. So how not to do that? And then we say, okay, so you are not that divine principle. That divine principle is God, Devaha. Okay, and then again we have a big problem, Devaha. So I become a devotee, and I will worship this Devaha. But the purpose here is to collapse this duality, devotee and object of devotion, knower and none, and so on. So therefore, we have to go back to know you are that, but you are not the attributes of your apparent secondary nature as the body mind. So we looked into that. Swami reminded us of the features, the famous features of consciousness. It's not part, not product, and so on. Independent principle. It expands beyond the boundaries of the body. When the body goes, consciousness remains unaffected, but this consciousness is not going to be verifiable because it needs the body mind so that it can dance, can appear as dancing, joy and bitter and sweet fruits of samsara. So therefore, Swami says that the teaching of Vedanta is just takes everything conduce us to the point from where all we need to do is to claim our true nature. And this claiming must be somehow made with such a clarity, conviction that leaves no doubt. It's often described as a doubt-free or doubtless knowledge in respect to what you are. And never forget, when you claim it, leave your body, mind, and their attributes out of what you are claiming to be you. Leave the body, mind attributes out. So very important. Huh? So all of that, Swami was explaining the difficulties. The difficult boils down to ahamkara and mamakara, because this this sense, the ego, the sense of doership, ownership, and so on. So ahamkara, mamakara is the difficult, and then we need to renounce that. And then he says that Dayananda was presenting that, Dayananda, no, it was Shankaracharya was presented. Therefore, you need to become a sannyasi to renounce the ahamkara and mamakara. And Swamiji say, no, I prefer a different approach. You don't need to become the body, the formal traditional sannyas to do that. So, and then what is necessary? It's just necessary to become a sannyasi in spite of not being an external sannyas. So the real deal is to break away from the identification with the doer and the experiencer and anything that it believes to own, including its own physical body and mind as well. So external sannyas is relatively easy. It can become a hell, like Mark has pointed out last time, and towards the end of our last class. External renunciation by itself never will give liberation. External renunciation is somehow an environment from where, if you have proper qualifications, the internal renunciation becomes easier because there will be no distractions. But if you don't have those qualifications in place, the external renunciation, become a sannyas and live in an ashram and gurukula using those red cloths and having nothing to do but to study the scriptures, that environment may become very problematic. So we know there are some ups and downs, advantage and disadvantage. Yeah? So one of the advantage, as I said, no distractions. The disadvantage, advantage, no distraction. Disadvantage is like, so you don't have any sense of security. So if your mind is still crave for security, you're gonna feel very insecure because as a sannyas you own nothing. You give. Just imagine that you come to the point that say, I want to become a former sannyas. I'm going to donate everything I have to others, and I will own nothing, you know, own nothing, 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 and I'm go. So it's the ultimate sense of insecurity in the sense, because the ashram is never going to provide to you what you believe that, what you believe what you are used to have. You understand? It's going to offer that 1, 2 meals a day and space, time, contemplation, no health insurance, nothing. You know. So the insecurity, not having security, is the downside. Therefore, the mind has to be prepared to live without any practical security. Okay, so there are plus and cons in the Stoic saying. But then he say, but anyhow, the inner renunciation is what counts. And what is the science? No? Someone who has done the internal renunciation, what are the indications? And then he says, so it's psychological, mental, emotional balance, okay, which presents itself, as reduction in regards to the frequency of you having some unbalanced reactions, those moments that somehow one uh, somehow is not freaks out a little bit, or has an emotional reaction. So frequency and intensity and time of recovering time. So that is our, let's say, it's not mokshometer. Mokshometer, it is more like a way we can measure our degree of qualification. Okay, so and then he goes further, say anxiety, fears, and desires are going to be reduced. The sense of, oh my God, I'm afraid, and now I need this and that, and I'm anxious, and I'm, anticipating, and all of that reduce and almost disappears completely. So all these things like desires, fears, anxiety, insecurity, uh, those are signs or expressions of impurity or lack of qualification of samsara. Okay, so why we feel insecure and afraid and have anxiety and fears? Because I'm still identified with ahamkara and mamakara. They are all ahamkara, mamakara centered. Huh? If I say I am the body mind, I am the doer, and I have what I have, therefore I feel relatively safe and secure. So as we know, it's impossible to find security in the ahamkara, in the body, in the mind, and in those things that supposedly the ahamkara owns, since it's impossible to really to feel safe, secure, and stable and balanced, as identified with the body mind sense complex and its ownerships, and its belongings. So the individual is going to suffer from insecurity, anxiety, and so on. Why? Because he's trying to get security, a lack of anxiety, a lack of fear, all of that, in the world, which depends on the ahamkara. Ahamkara is the one who is going to try to find security in a world which is fundamentally insecure. Yeah? Uh, So, and then some people may come and say, no, 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 this is a good one. They say, like, no, 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 I don't have any desire and I don't have any concern, I don't have any fear. But nothing about myself, but my children, my dog, my cat, my daughter. And there we go. This is samsara. Okay, one deceives oneself saying that I have no concerns and preoccupation with myself. So if you have with daughter, son, cats, and dogs, it means you have with yourself, but somehow you are lying to yourself. Uh, so FIR reduction is the sign. It should come, but it's not that you are completely immune to any kind of small reaction, because even if it comes a little bit here and there, it does not really produce a panic attack. That's nice. So it's not something strong. The intensity is very low and recovery time is very fast. Mental state is the sign. Look at the mental state, how problematic or unproblematic and properly, nicely pacified your mind is. Where all these words come, they are all wonderful descriptions of internal sannyas in the Gita. In short, general equanimity of the mind. So this is another way to put it. Vairagya, equanimity, a sense that all is okay, it's good when it's not good, and so on. I use the expression C, which means a mind which is calm, cheerful, and confident. Confidence is a very nice feature because it is a confidence. Yeah, James used to present confidence as the ananda, as a pointer, something to indicate what this ananda goes for. What does ananda mean? It's not like a state of bliss. James used to say it is a confidence that you, as conscious existence, can never be affected by anything in this samsara, in this world. The future may be very unpredictable, as we know, has always been. Now it seems that it's a little bit more, but I don't even know if that's the case. Maybe now we have become more aware of the unpredictability of the future when there are so many possible scenarios unfolding. Especially as we age, the future. Now we are talking before. Next year I'm going to be 70, and Lean is going to be 69, 69, 70 as well, 69. So, especially when we start aging, the fear of old age is something incredible. People tell me again and again, you cannot live there in the middle of nowhere. There are no hospitals in this place here. You have to travel 3 hours and blah, blah, blah. And if something happens to you, so the fear of becoming older and living away from society. So this self-knowledge must lead to this internal sannyas, which is internal sannyas must lead to mental pacification, calmness, which is called self-knowledge or moksha or jivan mukti. So what is the first benefit of this knowledge? It is internal sannyas, as just described. And then he says that again, he says, this is the essence of Kenopanishad. All other verses are only commentaries on this mantra, the main mantra, which is 1 and 2. The disciple presents a question and the guru answers, as we know. So we're going to see this from the third, and then it goes into other chapters. It's very beautiful. It's just more descriptions, more commentaries, uh, or explanations, like we saw with the last text that we did is Mandukya Karika, the Karikas of Swami. I see my memory of the Karikas of what is his name, Lynn? You having a good memory?
We were just saying, I didn't. I'm sorry, I fail as well.
Gaudapada.
You're on.
Gaudapada.
Gaudapada,
Oh,
this is him.
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Mark is the young one. The memory system is still very good.
Well, I remembered, but I was waiting for one of you guys to say it first.
Yeah, that's good. It allows us to exercise our memory. So what's the benefit? So you're gonna enjoy your life much, 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 much better, not having a samsaric mind, a problematic mind, a afraid mind, desireful mind, concerning mind. Huh? So you understood that there is nothing to be concerned. Security is impossible in this world, and furthermore, you don't want to really attribute no longer reality to this world. You want to hold on to the knowledge of the only real thing, which is consciousness, your true nature. And then you are not going to be investing in a world where happiness cannot be found, where really mental calmness and peace and satisfaction is not possible. So you're going to just live in this world as if not of this world. So the person is not going to have much problems with life as well. And then, so there are only two things. One is life and death. It's not going to have problem with death as well, Mark. Okay? No desires, no fears with regard to life and death. You are ready to keep going, keep moving, doing what needs to be done as long as your Parabada keeps unfolding. How long? Oh Lord, please take me out of here. I'm not enjoying this planet anymore. Huh? No, not even that should be there. As long as Shwara keeps you here, you say, okay, this is a beautiful world in spite of this dense mass of spiritual ignorance that is causing so much samsara suffering for all beings. So don't ask Lord to take you from here quickly. Don't try to be escapist. He calls the Jesus escapist moksha. That is a new one. I never heard that expression from him. Oh, I'm so enlightened that I want to get out of here very quickly. Nisargadatta Maharaj had a little bit of that attitude. He said, I don't give a damn for this. It's bad, it's bad. Almost as if he would prefer to leave soon. Keeping cigarettes, you're gonna have cancer, throat cancer, and who cares? I'm fed up with this BS of this world here. And he died of throat cancer, by the way. So no, you don't be in a hurry. Just accept the karma is going to keep you here from all wrong as the Lord finds fit for you. Just to whatsoever Papa may be, it's better you exhaust so that you don't need to come back. Just imagine have to come back to exhaust a little bit of Papa that's left in your account. So it's better to stay a little longer and exhausted. Oh, well, don't talk on those terms, Arlindo. I love to come back. Okay, good deal. What has to happen has let it happen. It's fine. Everything is okay. What is moksha? It's just no complaints. Accept everything. Hmm? How about that? No complaints. That's the words of the Swami here in the text, huh? Isn't it? Can you read that, Mark? It's saying there. What is moksha? No complaints. But Shiva may believe that I'm making it up. Then what happens? Parabadam ends. Parabadam ends for what? For the not for the Atma, and maybe to the mind as well. Parabadam ends because the mind supposedly is melts or merges or dissolves into this ocean of Satchitananda Brahman. So the Atma never had any Sanchita, Agami, or Parabada. The Atma never had any karma. The body mind has karma, and because I have been living through many lives identified as the body mind, and then I felt I have karma to deal with. So once you shift your identity to the other side, you know, and then there is no question of Parabada anymore because you just establish your identity at the Atma, which has never anything to do, has never had anything to do with any karma. No? Karma belongs to the body mind sense complex. You understand that, Mark? Definitely, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if the Atma's not a doer, then the Atma doesn't accumulate any karma.
Yeah, absolutely. So after dropping this body in the world, Marana Kale, the Yani become one with Brahman. They attain Videha Mukti. Amrapt means Videha Mukti Bhavanti. Now, the concept of Videha Mukti needs to be understood because it is just a philosophical concept. Jiva Mukti is not that philosophic because it has an element of how you say an experiential and very practical element. So you get self-knowledge, you shift your identification to consciousness, your true nature, and then you still live here as a jiva mukta. You are free from the misidentification while still attached to a body mind, associate with the body mind. The association is not something that is binding you; it's just a temporary situation, but you are firmly clear as consciousness, fully identified as consciousness. So that is jiva mukta. This has a practical, yeah, element to it. But Vidya Mukti, there is nothing like practical to it. It's just a concept. It's pure philosophy that when you leave, from this standpoint, you have a status of Vidya Mukta, means to say huge soul, huge soul. There is no individual soul anymore because there are no more desires and fears that holds the soul together. The soul is just this body of desires, ragas and dveshans, that wants to continue to just to process, to experience. They want duality on this realm or other satellite realms whatsoever. But the moment that you have no interest in the duality game anymore, so the soul might take, this is a lot of this is my take, my understanding. I tend to see that the soul does not have enough energy, ragas and veshes, enough to produce another birth. You understand? Because desire is what brings us back again and again. Fears or desire to come to fix some things and to complete some things, to resolve some things, attachments and so on. So the Videha Mukti is simply a philosophical concept that says that you are not going to come back. You just Your individual soul dissolves in Brahman as Brahman. Oh, great! And then as Brahman, what am I gonna do? Nothing. Brahman does not do anything of all factors in this universe. You know, he leaves all the work for Maya Ishwara and the Jivas that has has to enjoy the bitter and sweet fruits of samsara. What do you mean by Videhamuk? Great, Swami. Let's talk about that. I want your take. What you mean by Videhamuk? Since they do not have any karma, all of these you find on Tattva Bodha, he says. I want to go back to Tattva Bodha. Maybe we should consider doing this text. It's considered to be a preliminary text, but depends on how deeply you go, because it covers nearly everything about the Vedanta teaching, but just as a presentation. But you can also have dive into every one of those passages. Maybe I will do that either in English or in Portuguese in the near future. Sanchita Kam is always said to be burned. You know, Agami Kam is avoided, and Parabada Karma is exhausted. These are very, very interesting indications, or expressions, in which way Sanchita Karma is burned, which way Agam karma is avoided, Parabada Karma is exhausted. Let's see what Swami says. Sanchita Karma burns, Agama Karma. Okay, thank you. Repeating yourself, Swami. And if you do not remember these three words, revise Tattva Bodha, once again, all the Upanishad students must regularly revise Tattva Bodha. We're going to have to start Tattva Bodha because I want to see Swamiji's take on these sayings, these indications, that Agami Karma is avoided. So what my take is on these pointers. The first, let's say, Agami Karma is avoided because you are no longer karmi, going around doing things just to enjoy the fruits, of your doing. So you avoid. So you develop such a vairagya that you are no longer doer unless it's necessary to do certain things. And when you do knowing that you are being done somehow, but you want to be done directing your horse in a way that you don't you don't do things which are not in harmony with the Dharma. So it's avoided. So you do very little. Generally speaking, yanis, they become a little bit more lazy, but not lazy in a negative tamasic way, but they want to walk away from samsara. The same way I had the impulse to leave my restaurant there in Olympia, Washington, to go anywhere to live the most simple, insecure lifestyle, but away from all those activities. Okay, so you lose the interest in the rat race of samsara, as we say in the USA. Yeah? So the second one, Sanchita Karma burned. So Sanchita Karma burned is very interesting pointer as well, because Sanchita Karma is all the karma that is suspended. It is still suspended there, waiting in queue, in line to manifest. The waiting list for manifestation is a very complex equation that only Shwara knows. Sometimes there are many other karmas from other people. There are many other factors that all are going to corroborate to bring about the fructification of your karma on the personal level and the collective level. It's complex. You see? So it's burned. So how so it's burned? So it's burned because if you are no longer first you are no longer putting new actions in the field. You don't put any actions with identification. I am the doer and I'm doing this to gain that. Since that stops, okay, and then what happens? So you are not producing new sanchita. But there is a sanchita that was in the pipeline, as James likes to say. What happens to that? It's said that it burns. It sounds really mystical, you understand? But I had a little taste of it in the sense that when this very simple self-recognition took place, I felt that I was reacting to life in a totally new way that I couldn't explain. I couldn't explain. I tried to explain at the time, and a few times I remember when opportunity comes. So what happened that I start, because we react from our sanchita, we react from our vasanas, our tendencies, from that subconscious level, we react. So when I saw I was reacting differently, I felt like a chunk of my ego, of my unconscious mind, subconscious mind has gone. Huh? So, but that is kind of more uh, mystical, esoteric take on that. I'm going to look for my archives and I'm going to listen to what Swamiji says or said in the Tattva Bodha in respect to this Sanchita karma. If Parada karma is exhausted. Okay, so it exhausts itself, and sometimes people say, some pastors, some of our gurus or commentators or teachers say Parabhada Kab, there is one Parabhada for the yani. But then right there they say, but it's not really there is Parabhada for the yani, because the Parabhada is going to come only for the body mind, but not for the yani. For example, Ramana Maharaj had a cancer. It came from, nobody knows from where it came. When I was taking my time then in Tiruvannamalai, there was a guy there who was very famous, a Brahmin that every season he goes there to give talks. He's supposed to be the enlightened disciple of Ramana Maharaj. But I was so disappointed with what I heard from him. I went there twice to hear from him. One of the things that he said was trying to how you say, to absorb. And when you he was trying to explain that Ramana had that cancer, but it was not his parabada. It was not because of him. It's not because of his karma. That parabada was there only because he was so pure, so pure, so pure that the parabada of every time, everybody around him, the bad negative vibes and energy somehow caused Swamiji, Ramana Maharaj karma. So I did not like that explanation at all. And he said many things that really, you know, brought up the red light. And then I was like, oh my God, this guy is not really Yanni.
It sounds like he's mixing the Bible teachings with Vedanta, no? Because they say that Jesus died for our sins. So it sounds like he's making a bit of a mix up there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Or
He was
fusion, as
trying
you
to release. Uh, he was trying to release Ramana from any responsibility from a paraba that happened to his body, and not understand that Ramana was totally detached from the body mind, no identification, and Ramana was free from that paraba. The paraba was just catching up with his physical body. So therefore, some commentators say the parabada comes to the body of the yoni, okay, not to the yoni. So I go a little bit further and I say that the parada may come even to the mind, because the mind, when the body is physically ill, the mind becomes very tamasic and weak as well. You understand? But it does not come to the yana, to the knowledge of the yoni. You understand that the knowledge that there may be some some physical condition that is going to be very painful, and there will be a mind that is under the influence of a lot of pain and suffering and tamasic. The body mind becomes very tamasic when we are sick every time. Towards aging and getting to die, our body mind becomes more tamasic. Okay, it's enough for us to go and look for the videos, the last videos of the talks of Dayananda before he died of a decade or so back. Okay, so the talks were no good. You understand? They were no good. Definitely, his his stocks were affected by old age there. Okay, I will do this homework, find out what he says, and then I get back to you about that. In short, at the time of death, the karma balance shows what? And then he presents a beautiful analogy here. First time I hear him saying that, I read or I listen to him saying that. He says that when you do your tax return, you're gonna see that there is no tax to be paid. Okay, so money in, money out, and then boom, balance zero zero, nothing. So no tax to pay. Yeah? So that's what happens in the analogy. So when the karma balance comes, because we have a karma bank account, a karma account in analogy, and Ishwara is that principle that know how to account everything for every soul. Yeah? And then comes a point that you don't have any more punya papa. You just you know it's all zero, no income tax to pay, a new balance. Therefore, there is no question of Punar Janima, Sukshma Shahira take another Stula Sharira. So there is no question of a new birth. Why? There is no desire, there is no karma. Life, sometimes I like to put it, nothing but a process of karma. We come here to process our karmas or to process our vasanas. You understand? And then once you come to a new account, there is no real, punya papa, desires are not there, fears are not there, and then what happens? There is no energy. This soul has not enough energy to produce another puna janima, which is another birth. Okay, so all the three bodies merge into the three prapanchas. This is also very incredible concept. The three bodies that somehow makes up the individual soul. The unconscious, the conscious, and the physical body that grossifies. It all comes from our sattva causal body. So all these three bodies merge into the three prapanchas. Vishwa merged into Virat, Taijasa merged into Hiranyagarbha, and Pranya merged into Ishwara. So there is no individual there. There is only Brahman appearing as Virat, Hiranyagarbha, and the physical material. Vishwa merged into Virat, Taijasa, and into Pranya merged into Ishwara. Yeah, there is only Ishwara, and then there is the dream world, Brahman appearing as Ishwara, the dream world, and the Vishwa world, but the soul is no longer identified as an individual apart from those three principles. The three principles remain there, but the individual disconnect from these three principles. Which principles? Ishwara, Hiranyagarbha, yeah, and Virat. Okay, so you remember the teachings of the Mandukya. So Ishwara is the macrocosm causal body. Okay, so there is Ishwara, and then Hiranyagarbha is the macrocosmic subtle body of the entire universe, and Virat is the macrocosm cosmos or manifestation, physical material. Okay, another reason to go and revise Tattva body, he's saying here. In short, like the iceberg melting in sunlight and merging into ocean, the Jiva iceberg melts in the light of Yana. The light of Yana, so we need the heat to melt an iceberg. Huh? They say like now climate change or global warming and it's melting the ice. Huh? So what is the sun that is going to merge this river? So it's the Yana. You know? So the yana is going to melt the sense of individuality, In the light of this yana, Surya, the jiva, iceberg, the sense of separatedness and isolation as independence, living, and so on, is going to be melt and merge into the Paramatma Sagaraha. Jivatma icebergs melts in the Yana Surya and merge into Paramatma Sagaraha. So, in other words, more simple, the Ahamkara melts into 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 becoming a yani, yeah? And the yani merged into become Paramatma, never to get another birth again. This is the palan. And then people say, no, 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 it's not for me. I'm sorry, Mark, but I want punya. You know, I like I like to experience. I want celestial punyas. I want to go to Brahmadoka. I want to do this and that. Some beautiful. There are some nice interdimensions to enjoy. You know. So what kind of palan is this that Vedanta is offering? This is not a good palan. Good palan is punya, huh? Because I like duality. I like the experience of pleasure and pain, and I don't care if I exhaust my punya and then I come back and I'm gonna work hard again to produce and to put in my saving accounts more punya, more punya, more punya, so that later on I can enjoy punya. It's like people come and they work so hard from the age of 20, 25, work, 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 save a lot of money. And then when they are 50, 60, they say, okay, now I can stop and enjoy my retirement. By the time that enjoy, the mind is no longer fit to experience joy. The body is sick, and everything you have earned, you're going to spend, try to prevent the body from breakdown. So thus the entire Vedanta has been summarized, and the punya, the palan, the fruits of self-knowledge described here. Okay, very encouraging, huh? So on the class number 5, he begins by reminding us that the whole kernel began with the student asking that very brilliant question, huh? and and then the teacher responding say that is Devaha, the divine principle. What is the divine principle? It's divine principle that lives in the heart of all beings, like Ramana used to say. Even though the bodies of all living beings are made up of matter, there is a principle that make it conscious and alive, self-conscious, conscious of its environment and alive. And we all know that matter by nature is inert, so it's so simple and easy to see that must be something other than matter, to make this matter, this chunk of matter, chunk of clay, uh, to look sentient and animate. There is this principle. So how come these living creatures appear to be sentient and animate? So there must be a non-material principle, non-energetic principle. This principle, one needs to have a subtle mind, a pure mind to understand that there must be a principle because matter by itself is inert. Oh no, it's not energy. Energy is matter as well. Okay, so we are the lucky ones that have a mind that can understand this simple fact, okay, as a fact. There must be something different between that makes us sentient creatures and not inert objects. What is this divine principle? So the guru, the teacher gave the answer is the eye of the eye, the mind of the ear, uh, the ear of the ear, and so on. Uh, that is what it does make the body mind. alive and dynamically moving. Yeah. So, in the presence of prana body, the prana body is alive, and when the prana goes away, the body becomes dead. Therefore, prana is the enlivening principle. So, we covered that the body mind depends on prana. uh, the physical body depends on the mind. The subtle body is going to keep the body, the physical body alive, and it does that through the intelligent design heirs, intelligent heirs that are going to process, to keep, to sustain the system, the five autonomous system of the body, so the body keeps alive for a period of time. So the preliminary understanding is that the prana is what keeps the sentient, the body sentient and alive. Okay, but that is only a preliminary understanding. For senior students, we know that that is just a compromising answer or explanation, because prana itself is energy. Energy itself is what is inert. Okay, energy is inert. And then here, Swamiji, as we have seen in the previous class, it jumps to consciousness. Uh, so we can make an intermediary access and see like prana cannot be the ultimate, because prana is what? Prana is energy, and energy is matter. Matter is absolutely not self-conscious, not sentient. Okay? So prana cannot be it, even though it appears to be. There must be something else. When the prana comes out, what comes out of the physical body? The subtle body, the mind. You remember the posters of James, and then you have the pranas right there, you know, at the bottom of the subtle body. Okay, so the middle section, there is the pranas, the five physiological functions and so on, the vital airs, intelligent design. So it's there, it's keeping the physical, it's like sandwiched between the subtle body and the physical body. It's just making it alive. Huh? So what happens? The prana leaves the body, and then the subtle body, the mind say, oh, now I have to get out of here because this body is going to begin to stink, you know. So, and then the subtle body leaves the body. Huh? So I'm breaking it into another passage. The prana cannot be it, because the prana is matter, it's energy. Energy is matter, is sentient. And how about the subtle body, the mind? Is the mind conscious, or is the mind only matter, energy? And this is the question. Mind has two aspects to itself. In its substantial structure, it's just energy, and energy is matter. Okay, but mind is what it is because it has a reflection of original consciousness producing reflected consciousness, or the mind. So the mind has both. Okay, pranas is just energy. The mind has two aspects on itself. Okay, in the substantial, it's just energy or matter. But then the human sentience, or the human consciousness we experience, is due to the original consciousness, that is possible through this reflecting medium, the subtle body. So when the prana leaves, and then right after the mind leaves, the mind has two aspects of itself. If the mind lives with self-knowledge, you say, "Oh my God, thanks God, I'm out of there. I'm no longer, enclosed in that old body, and and so on. Now I can go back home. I just want to merge into the ocean of Brahman as Brahman, and so on." So if the mind does not have self-knowledge, which is made out of consciousness and energy, the mind, And then what happens? It's going to immediately try to find out to a way back here by trying to cook up a new instrument of experience. Okay, so in the ultimate teaching, it is beyond the subtle body of the mind. It says that when prana lives, the mind lives, but there is something which is not subject to arrival and departure, and that is consciousness. Okay, did you understand where I went with it, or it was confused? Consciousness is going to borrow consciousness and existence to the mind and to the pranas and to the physical body, the five cultures. So the real deal is consciousness. And consciousness does not really leave the physical body. What leaves the physical body first is the prana, and then is the mind, the subtle body. Consciousness remains there because consciousness is all pervasive. Okay, consciousness remains there, but it can vivify uh, the the physical body only if it has the mind and the subtle body and the pranas to keep it alive, to make it dance. That is the real divine principle, is consciousness, which bless the five koshas, the three bodies, and all the functions of the three bodies, including the pranas, pranamoya kosha, no? And then the mind, and then the intellect, because having given this definition, the divine curse, the teacher points out that knowing this divine principle is extremely useful for life. Very nice. It's useful. But is it all there is useful? I thought it would be transcendental, extraordinary, and something like that. No, it's just useful. Why I should then study Vedanta if it's just something useful? And then the teacher has to say, no, it's useful, but I'm going to break it down to explain the benefits of this self-knowledge. If you get the self-knowledge, the greatest advantage is that you are no longer be identified with the ahamkara and mamakara. Oh, I am the body mind, and I am the doer, the thinker of my thoughts, the doer of my acts, and I own what I own, and I want to own more. I own this physical body as well. I own my mind, and so on. So that sense of ownership, that sense of identity as the thinker and doer drops. And then that already scares the hell of most people. No, I'm going to start, you're going to lose your ego. You're going to lose a sense of ownership and everything. You say, oh my God, is this a good pattern? Yes. No, we'll go. We're going to explain. Ahankara in the body mind complex and Mamakara in the external world. This is very nice. It says Ahankara is inherent to the body mind complex, and Mamakara is the way this Ahamkara relates to the external world. So I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. When Ahamkara, Mamakara is dropped, what is called Atimusia, or called what? Dissolution of Ahamkara, Mamakara is dissolution of what? Likes and dislikes, ragas and passion, desires and fears. I want what I want because I believed that that was the way to live a life. Desiring, seeing, and accomplishing those desires, realizing those desires, getting what I want. I'm going to complete myself. So the solution of Ahamkara is the only solution because there is no way you're going to get what you want in this Mithya order of reality. You can't get what you want. Sometimes you get, sometimes you don't. You don't. Our likes and dislikes are centered on ahamkara, aham and mana, no? Mine, I and mine. I am never going to bother about the other people in the world if I get this self-knowledge. Even other countries in the world. So nothing should be a reason for concern. My rugged version is centered in what? Me and my things, myself and what I own. I own myself, and I somehow I have a connection with my son, my daughter, my this, and then somehow I feel like now I have to be concerned with them because they are part of me. They are my property. How so? Because I made them. Hmm? No, nobody makes anybody. People make love sometimes, and then babes come, but nobody knows how to do that. Therefore, ahamkara mamakara reduction is the only benefit. Rugged version reduction is the only benefit. Number two, he said. When rugged versions are neutralized by knowledge, diluted, the emotional problem, the emotional disturbance are minimized greatly, heavily diluted. Mind finds peace, security, and happiness because whenever you are mentally disturbed, it's centered on what? One object of like or dislike. Always, all the time. My way, my notions, what I know is the correct thing, the sense of being, righteous and try to impose one's notions and ideas. So we get so identified with our notions and ideas, not only our physical objects we own, and uh, and that becomes really problematic. So with this knowledge, there will be a sense of respect and acceptance. The objects, if they come, if it's not really a fun of those objects, I'm not concerned. I know that life is about pleasures and displeasures. Dislikes may come, no problem as well. It's also good. That's the game of life, and I'm just an spectator here. I'm not attached to any of those things. Why? I have neutralized my likes and dislikes, my wants, my desires and fears, and aversions and attractions. Therefore, what's the benefit? Peace, shanti, security, and happiness. But security, you're going to give away all your ownership, internally and outside as well. You are inner sannyasi now. You got self-knowledge. You don't claim anything as yours. So how are you going to have peace just because of that? You don't claim anything to be yours anymore. If you claim anything to be yours, even if you have half of the planet under your name, you're going to feel insecure because that can be taken away. But if you understand that what you are can never be taken away from you, so what happens? You're going to be absolutely happy, and the security is going to be huge. The peace is going to be a consequence of this knowledge. This is Jiva Mukta. Mukti, we saw that. So that is Deva Svarupam, Deva Yanan, and Deva Yanapalam. The nature of this divine principle, the nature of this Yana, knowledge, Atma Yana, and Jnana Palan. So what are the benefits? All the three were given. We use in this Upanishad, it's used instead of Atma self or Brahman, it's called Devaha, the divine principle. But keep in mind that it means Brahman, it means the self, Atma. Okay? Devayani means Atmayanam. Atmayana means Brahma Yanam. So we have seen it up to now. Now let's just touch the mantra number three. The mantra three, he begins analyzing or commenting on the second mantra. The I does not go thither, out there or over there, nor speech, nor the mind goes anywhere. We do not know it. We do not understand how anyone can teach it. It's different from the known. It is above the unknown. Thus we have heard from the preceptors of old who taught it to us. So it's very beautiful. He's saying like what makes the eye go and contact its object and having a visual experience of the object. So what happens to our eyes? Do our eyes need to travel to contact the object? No, absolutely not. Yeah? So we say the eyes connect with its object, and the ear, all the five senses connect with the respective objects, but the body, mind, and the five senses do not travel to connect with anything. You know, there is something that somehow makes it happen. Okay, so because he said the eyes of the eyes, you know? So there is something that allows the eyes to see, the ear to hear, and so on, which is not the physical eye. The physical eye may be there. Scientists and doctors may say, like, oh, there's nothing wrong with your eye, but there is something strange because why you cannot see? So there is something even beyond the subtle eye, which is the organ, the vision organ. There is consciousness behind the entire mechanism of the body, mind, and the five senses. So we do not know it. We know it. We do not understand it. How can anyone teach this? It's beyond common knowledge or understanding. It's not something that can be known. It's beyond known and unknown. Thus we have heard from the preceptors of old who taught it to us through millenniums. So just a quick introduction for our next class. Uh, Sutra Buddha mantra, just as in Taittiriya, is the Sutra mantra, and rest is the commentary. Similarly, he's saying that this is like the other Taittiriya Upanishad. There is the main mantra, and then the rest a commentary. Here, that the the teaching that the guru has given is incomplete because the teacher has given the definition of devaha. Who is this devaha? This is the question. So therefore, we need to further elaborate this. Okay, so as we have seen, so the devaha is one's very intrinsic true nature identity, and that can be said, but it has to be carefully elaborated so that the student does not superimpose the attributes of the body mind on this divine principle. So the teacher has given the definition of Deva without saying this so far, saying that it's you, the Atma, the self. So who is this Deva? Well, this is the divine principle within the body mind that makes the organs alive. But the teacher did not elaborate. He says just like vaguely, the eye of the eye, the ear of the ear, because the teacher has to go slowly and carefully, trying to where this all is pointing to without objectifying that which is the divine principle. Yeah? The teacher has given a definition, but who is this Devaha? Yeah? The teacher has not pointed out how to identify this divine principle, that there is a divine principle enlivening the body. The definition has been given. There is a divine principle, but he does not explain how to understand it properly. That you are this divine principle, but you are not the body, mind, or the intellect. What is the mode by which this divine principle can be understood and identified and claimed? The mode is called pramana. It has not been mentioned only Lakshanam has been mentioned. Uh, the Pramana is what often is said to be the only means by knowing this divine principle is Vedanta, or more precisely, the Upanishads. So the eyes, the five senses cannot get that. The mind, which coordinates all these five senses, is not going to get that. It's not an object of sensory experience or knowledge. It is something that can only be known from a particular pramana, and this is the Upanishads. Okay? We're going to we're gonna have to wait until next Thursday to keep on enjoying this Kenopanishad. Or you prefer to drop the Gita for the moment? Because we are just about to begin the chapter 6, or the chapter 7. We could drop. What do you prefer? The chapter 7 of the Gita is all about the nature of Ishwara. It's the beginning of a lot of dive into the nature of Brahman, the nature of Ishwara. We could put that on hold for the moment or not. What do you think?
I'm enjoying doing both texts simultaneously at the moment. I'm really enjoying the differences and the similarities.
Okay. Then we keep doing that since Lynn
I'm not
would
sure
not.
about Lynn. Perhaps Lynn prefers to drop it. I don't know.
Well, my mind is such that in order to grasp something really beautiful, I'd like to concentrate on one thing, but uh, I really look also forward to that chapter 7. So I can go either way.
Okay, okay. Then we keep doing the way we are doing so far. Chapter 7 is very beautiful, the Gita. Okay, okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Okie dokie. Namaste. We meet again this coming Friday, right? Friday. Oh yeah, Friday with the Gita. Yeah.
Thanks, Orlando.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Stay young,
Orlando.
huh? Lynn, stay young.
Sorry?
And shot.
Okay.
Working on
Okay, Mark, did you say something?
No, I just said thank you. Wonderful satsang.
Thank you, Mark. See you. Bye bye.
Okay. See you on Friday.